So good morning, everybody, and happy Independence Day and happy Purnima. And Guru Purnima is tomorrow, and that's a holiday that is celebrating the Guru, obviously. But I kind of like that the two are coinciding with each other this year, that this idea of independence or this idea of liberating yourself from what binds you is completely in line with what the Guru actually is, what a Guru actually is meant to be. And we often just say that a guru is a spiritual teacher or it's someone who guides us on a spiritual level. But really what it's meant to be is an energy that brings you from dark to light. That's what the word literally means. It means from darkness to light. And so the guru can be not just a spiritual teacher that inspires you, but it can be literally anyone who shakes you out of your darkness, who shakes you out of the mentality or the energy that is destructive or binding and turns you in another direction. So I was thinking about it that in the line of gurus is those individuals that some of them have been described as being incredibly kind and incredibly light, and then some of them have been described as being incredibly challenging, that to just be around them was almost like irritating, like you want to get away. And that all of that is the energy of the guru. All of that is the energy that's needed for us as individuals to find our way from those dark places in us to understanding them as light, or understanding them as not something that keeps us stuck, but is something that moves us forward. So the guru is really in my mind today, and maybe, on other days as well, but the guru in my mind today is the energy that destroys your world for you. Because when your world falls apart or your world is destroyed, then something new can be reborn, something new can be grown from that. And that's really what we celebrate with the guru, and that's what we celebrate even with just the concept of independence, right? It came through that experience of destroying what was before so that something new could be created. And so that process is what we're doing every day, all the time, if we let it happen. If we cling to it, we cling to the way we want things to be, then we lose the power of the guru, right? We lose the power of what's in our life being the guru that brings us from a dark place to a light place. So the idea of liberation, the idea of independence, the idea of rescuing yourself is something that the guru is meant to inspire in us, because the guru doesn't do the work, right? You have to do the work. No matter what, you have to do it. But the guru helps us see in us something that we couldn't see ourselves, right? So find a comfortable seat, let your eyes close, and let it be a thought that today your purpose is to liberate yourself from something. And that doesn't mean that you eradicate it. It doesn't mean that it disappears. It means that you start to take what feels like it's heavy or it feels like it's dark, and you start turning it in a direction where it fits with the concept of light, because it is just a concept. So find your breath. And that means finding within you the power to intermingle opposites. That within you, an inhale becomes an exhale, and an exhale becomes an inhale. And within you, thoughts that maybe look a little bit destructive or scary or don't make any sense have the ability to become love. The guru inspires in you the willingness and the ability to accept that alchemical reaction. You can recreate the world with your breath, with your thoughts. So we're tapping into the inner guru. Bring the breath up into that space around the third eye. Guru chakra is associated with the third eye. There is a guru in you. The ability to turn darkness into light. Bring the breath down to the heart center. It's not in your mind that that transformation takes place. It's here, because this is the seat of your Jiva Atman, the energy that is you at its core, at its basis, that has nothing to do with what has happened or what will happen. This is the energy that is eternal. And then drop that breath all the way down to the base of your pelvis. It means you got to breathe a little deeper and a little wider into your lower spine. And this is the way that you root that energy of transformation in the world. It's not just the energy of who you are as an identity that you hold up, but it's a place where you actually take everything that you understand in that transformation and you make it reality. It's the root chakra. How do I make what I feel at my deepest soul level, heart level? How do I make it reality? All of that is the guru. Feel the breath flowing in all three places, from the base of the spine, up through the heart, up through the third eye, and then back down. But with a consciousness that your breath moving is that transformational energy. You're not directing it, but you're following the flow that it already has. And one more deep breath in. As you exhale the breath all the way out, feel a softening from the outside to the inside. No more protecting yourself from the world. Not for another hour or so. And then bring the hands together in front of the heart center, palm to palm. We'll open with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can release your hands, please. Then bring your hands to your knees or your thighs and just start to circle your torso, making nice big spirals. Good, keeping the pelvis nice and rooted, moving the spine. And try to find, again, where you're not rocking around in a circle on your pelvis, but where your pelvis is really stable, but you're moving the spine around the bowl of your pelvis. So you're actually making space where the spine meets your pelvis. Good. It is funny, if you study any of the personalities of the gurus and any of the lineages, is you will find such a range of characteristics, a range of personalities. And you'll find that the individuals who are drawn to any one of them, is that personality is exactly what they needed, either in a positive sense or a negative sense, to move them from where they were in their life. Move your torso the other way, please. Good. But the one that sticks in my mind frequently, and it's not a guru that I usually think of as my own, but, oh gosh, and that's so funny that his name escaped me. Yogi Bhajan, I'm sorry. From Kundalini Yoga, he is quoted as saying that you have to initiate yourself. And if nothing else that he said or did had any impact on me, that did. The idea that you don't need a guru, a special person, to come in and tell you that you have the ability to change your life. You don't need someone to be there by you physically to do it. Come back to stillness, please. Move your spine in cat and cow. The idea that you can initiate yourself. And as soon as you recognize the guru in you, that wakes up. We practice so that we don't have to wait for someone to come liberate us. That's what it means. You initiate yourself. It means you start walking that path on your own, even if you don't know what direction to go. You start walking, and the right teachers, the right guides appear, and they give you little nudges and say, go this way, go that way. One thing that they say inspires you to run towards the light. Maybe that was all their job, that one phrase, that one thing. You don't have to follow them as a devotee, but you can acknowledge that your gurus are with you all the time. Come back to stillness, please. Stretch the arms up overhead. Good. Interlace your fingers. Point your fingers to the sky. Good. Just squeeze those arms, pull up. And then as you're breathing, you're pulling the navel in sharp on the inhale, saying Sat either out loud or in your mind. And then exhale, nam. And then inhaling sat, exhaling nam. Inhaling sat, exhaling nam. Again, up to you if it's out loud or inside, but the inhale is drawing the navel in and up, exhaling, relaxing the belly. Keep going. Sat, nam, sat, nam, sat, nam, sat, nam. You're squeezing and lifting the pelvic floor when you pull that navel in and up. Like I said, Yogi Bhajan is credited for bringing much of what we know of Kundalini Yoga to the West. He's not the only teacher, of course. Try to keep those arms up, even if the arm position doesn't fully work, maybe hands on top of head, but keeping that long extension that you are reaching higher. Good. Again, initiating yourself. As much energy as you put into your practice, as much energy as you put into finding what it feels like to move from darkness to light, what you put into it is what's going to determine what comes out of it. If you put aggression into it, you're going to get aggression out of it. Good. Kundalini Yoga is that energy that says you have already the highest spiritual nature inside of you. Buddha would say you're already enlightened. So you practice just to understand what that means, because the mind forgot. The mind forgot what it meant to be free. The mind forgot what it means to be enlightened. So you're not practicing to get out of anything real. You're practicing to remember what it feels like to be enlightened, to have nothing in the way of that spiritual nature that you are, the light that you are. Keep going. Sat, nam, sat, nam. If you don't practice Kundalini a lot, then maybe you don't know that at the point when you're sure that you can't hold your arms up anymore and you desperately want to get out of the whatever it is that you're doing, is that's the moment when you become free, when you don't give up. So keep going. Sat Nam, truth is my name. If your arms really want to come down, think of someone you love desperately and keep your arms up for them. If it was the only thing they asked you to do in their life, if you knew that was going to save their life, keep your arms up. Good, keep your throat long. Good, get softer the longer you do it. 45 more minutes. I'm joking. One more deep breath in, pull the breath in, pause and hold at the top, squeeze those arms, reach through those fingers. Good, extend, extend, extend. And then exhale, release the arms down, eyes closed, let yourself feel for a moment. Let the head rock from side to side if it needs. Circle the neck. Good. Kundalini Yoga is often, by people who do it non-professionally, described as something that you hate it while you're doing it, but when you're done, you feel amazing. What does it feel like to move from darkness to light without translating, without trying to figure out, how do I make dark look like light? What if you just practiced being light? As difficult as that is to shift from one to the other, if you just do it, then it happens. If you think about it all the time, you stay stuck in the thinking. Good. Let the eyes float open, roll forward to hands and knees, come into child's pose. Nice. And I have to say, Yogi Bhajan is an interesting guru individual right now, because in recent times he's come under fire for personally some of the things that he apparently did and behaviors with some of his disciples and people who knew him. And it becomes that question that if we are holding up a mirror of complete perfection to a human being, that does it negate their ability to inspire us? And I don't know the right answer to that, but I don't think I'll ever forget the words, initiate yourself. So the guru doesn't have to be someone that you like, but you can feel where there's an energy that pushes you to move your world in a different direction. Move yourself over your right thigh, please. Good. One of the things we look to free ourselves from is that idea that there is a perfection that needs to be rigidly held in order for there to be light. Come back to center, go to the left in order for there to be peace. And that thought alone, that we need to have that rigid perfection, keeps us trapped in right and wrong. So instead, can you just practice being light and liberate yourself? Can you sit with the inconsistency of what it means to be human and know that it's not perfection in the literal way, but it's perfection in the way that it is completeness and the ability to transmute one to another. Come back to center. Good. Squeeze your knees towards your side ribs, please. Scoop your low belly, drop your hips deeper onto your heels, and then relax your upper back. Nice. And then bring yourself back up to hands and knees, please. Good job. Downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, lift your hips. Pedal your feet. So move your hips from side to side. Good. And then come back to stillness, hips nice and high. Let the heels soften towards the floor as you keep pulling the hips back and back and back and back and back. Good. And then take the right leg up and back behind you, down dog split. Reach long through that thigh. So pull the weight out of your wrist, push out. Good. And then step that foot forward between the hands. Nice. Both hands come inside the front foot. Good. Keep your ribs square. Just walk your fingertips forward a little bit further. Good. Scoop your low belly so that you can send that right knee forward over the ankle a little bit more. Good. And then push through that back inner thigh. Pull up. So pull your pelvis back and lift your chest forward. Good. Deep breath in. Exhale, lion's breath. That means tongue sticks out, eyes wide open. Inhale fully. Lion's breath. Exhale. Nice. One more time. Inhale. A little collie energy for you. Exhale. Lion's breath. Beautiful. Good, Stacy. And then walk your hands back in under your shoulders, please. Left hand plants, right arm to the sky, spinal twist. Good. Keep that scoop of your low belly. Send your right knee forward again. Don't let it fall out to the side. Keep hugging it in towards the midline. And then push your left hip wider to the left. Yeah. Nice, you guys. Back thigh lifts a little higher. Beautiful. Release that right hand down to the floor, please. Nice. Step back to down dog split. Take that right leg back and up behind you. Good. Bend the knee, kick your heel in towards your butt. Keep the knee pointing down, please. And then drag those arms up into your shoulders and lift your chest forward towards your thumbs. So the back of your heart lifts up. Your throat stays long. Good. Keep hugging the arms back so that it's your chest pulling forward, not you trying to arch your back. And then pull that thigh a little higher. Squeeze your heel in. Good. Pull your navel in, your ribs in. Lift your hips higher. Yes. Pull back. You're still in that down dog split. Awesome. One more breath, squeeze. Good. And then extend all the way back out. Right leg goes to straight. And then release that foot down to the floor, downward facing dog. Slide forward to plank pose. Lower down slow. Come through knees first if you need. Good. Point the toes back behind you. Stretch your arms reaching back towards your feet. Good. Pressing through the front of your pelvis. Lift those tops of your thighs forward and up. And then lift head, neck, and chest. And float the legs up for locust. Good. So that feeling that you are stretching yourself as long as you can go. You can lift the hands up as well once you're there. Good. You are pulling long, that your chest is reaching forward, your tail is reaching back, your throat is long. Nice. So Stacy, drop your chin just a little bit and then push through the crown of your head. That's it. And then release, hands to the floor. Good. Forehead to the floor. Press your feet down. Rise up to cobra. So bend the elbow. Sorry, I didn't say that. Hands flat to the floor. Rise up cobra. Lift head, neck, and chest. Good. With that same energy that the back of your heart is leading you and you're dragging those hands back in space. So it's the chest that's pulling forward, forward, forward. And then your throat gets longer and longer and longer. Good. And then release, downward facing dog. Right, we miss this idea that we're always extending from the root of us. Because if we're not connecting deep down to the root of who we are, then what we do ceases to have the influence on our life that it could. Left leg comes up and back, down dog split. So if you're only extending from the surface level of you, your arms and your legs, you don't get to that place where it's actually the deepest parts of you embodying the pose. You miss out on the freedom of the pose. Push back through that left heel. Yeah, and then step that foot forward between the hands. Good, both hands come inside the front foot. Walk your fingertips forward. So again, you're extending your spine. So even further, even further. Lisa, move your hands forward more. Stacy, hands forward more. Yeah, I want you really extended. And then you're scooping that low belly. So your left knee can come forward over the ankle, but then you're pulling back through that right inner thigh. So your hips are pulling back in space. Deep breath in. Exhale, lion's breath, tongue out. That's it. Inhale all the way in. Exhale, lion's breath out. Good. One more breath in. Exhale, lion's breath. Beautiful. And then walk your hands back in underneath your shoulders. Plant the right hand, take the left arm to the sky, spinal twist. Good. As you come into that twist, try not to give into that urge to let your hips push out to the left. Pull that left butt cheek in, push your right hip wider to the right. And then scoop your belly again and send your left knee forward over the ankle. And then pull back on that right thigh. Good. So Harriet, move your hips to the right more. Back towards the midline. That's it. Good, you guys. Release that left hand down to the floor, please. Take your left leg back and up to down dog split. Good. Bend the knee, keep your knee pointing down, squeeze that heel in towards your butt, and then drag your arms up in towards the shoulder socket. So again, you're lifting your chest forward, almost like you're doing cobra already. Back of your heart reaches up. And then keep that thigh as lifted as you can. So pull it up. Push up through your heel. Good. And then draw your rib cage in, push your hips back in space because you're still in down dog split. So keep your hips moving back over that extended leg. Good. Lift that left thigh a little higher. Nice, Jessica. Just pull in those low ribs. That's it. And then chest lifts a little more. Good. If you get rigid here, that's what your mind is going to become. Don't get rigid. Good. And then extend all the way back out. Reach through that left leg. Pull yourself long. The way you come out of the pose, I think, is more important or just as important as how you get in. And then release that left foot back down. Good. Downward facing dog. Slide forward to plank pose. Lower down slow, coming through knees first if you need. Good. Pointing the toes back, reach the arms, reaching back towards your feet, palms facing down. Again, float the legs up off the floor. This time, start with the legs, but keep that lift of the front of your pelvis, lift head, neck, and chest, come into locust. Jessica, just hug your shins towards each other. Good. Stacy, hug your shins towards each other. Nice. Back of your heart pulls up. Nice, Andy. Take your hands a little further away from each other. Yeah. Good. Like a little bird on the water, you should feel yourself rocking with your breath. That's it. And then release, please, forehead to the floor. Bend the elbows, plant the hands for cobra. Good. Pressing the feet down into the floor, rise up, lift head, neck, and chest with that same energy of I'm pulling myself long. So I'm pushing into my feet. I'm pushing through the length of my legs, and I'm dragging my hands back to pull my chest forward. Really nice, Lisa. Good. And then release back, please. Downward facing dog. Good. Right leg comes up and back, down dog split. Nice. Bend the knee, kick your heel in towards your butt, stack the right hip on top of the left. Good. And then try and reach back through that knee a little longer so that you're really extending the knee and the thigh out from the pelvis. So you're getting that long line from your armpit all the way out through the edge of your knee. Squeeze that heel in towards your butt. Good. One more breath. Squeeze and reach. Nice. And then bring that knee facing down. Step the right foot between the hands. Lunge. Good. Back heel comes to 45 degrees. Warrior one. Take your arms up to the sky. Good. Again, so warrior one, Lauren. Hips facing straight ahead. Ribs facing straight ahead. There you go. Arms come up overhead, interlace your fingers, point your fingers to the sky. Again, that Kali Mudra. And just for a breath or two, go back to that feeling of Sat Nam, where you draw the navel in and up as you reach through the side body. And Nam is that releasing, but as you release, let your thighs go deeper into Warrior One. Good. And then that Sat Nam, the Sat is pulling you up and long through your pose, and the Nam is releasing into the full expression of the pose. Good. And this is what we call practice, right? Is that we look for that full, strong engagement with what's true, with what's real on a deeper level. And then we relax into what it looks like in reality. Because what it looks like through this body and mind is not going to be that same idealistic truth that exists somewhere outside the world. So we're always practicing, how do I live the reality as best I can, knowing that it's not going to look the way I think it should look all the time. Good. One more deep breath. Release the mantra. Take your hands back behind you. Interlace your fingers at the low spine. Deep breath in. Hug those elbows. Lift your chest. And then bow deep inside that front thigh. Take the arms up and over any amount. Keep the back heel on the floor. Keep pushing your left hip wider to the left as you squeeze your right butt cheek back and in. Scoop your belly. Send your right knee forward over your ankle. And then reach back through that back thigh. Good, Lauren. Nice, you guys. And then release the hands down to the floor. Really good. Spin your back heel up, please. Good. And then left hand plants right arm to the sky, spinal twist. This time, flex that right foot, fall onto the baby toe. Let the knee start to go wide, but still push your left hip wider to the left. Good. Open the heart a little bit more. Maybe take your right hand behind your head if that helps you open the chest more. Press your head back into your hand. Nice. Good. And then release, please, taking that foot flat to the floor, hands to the floor. Take the right leg up and back, down dog split. Good. And then bend the knee again, kick your heel in, stack the right hip on top of the left. Beautiful. Relaxing that left heel towards the floor. That's the leg still in down dog. There you go. Nice, you guys. One more deep breath. Maybe here, if you'd like to take this more into that, what do you call it, flipping your dog, you can start to lift that right hand, take your right foot to the floor back behind you, take the right arm up to the sky. So you got to bring your foot to the floor, Lauren. There you go. Open the hips, almost like you're coming into a full back bend. Good. So right arm will lift up, right leg is back behind you. Awesome. And then bring it all the way back up to down dog split. Release the foot to the floor. Good. Come forward to plank. Lower down slow. Good. Forehead to the floor, bend your knees. Please kick your heels in towards your butt. Reach back, right hand for right ankle, left hand for left ankle. Draw your heels down towards your butt and keep them there. Good. Thighs stay, tops of thighs stay rooted to the floor. Knees stay rooted to the floor. Don't let your hips go wide. Don't let your knees go wider than your hips. So Lisa, pull your knees towards each other a little more. There you go. You're keeping your heels in towards your butt. So root down through the thighs. Curl your toes back. You can push against the hands, but keep that pressure of heels to your butt. Bend your elbows, lift head, neck, and chest for frog. One version of frog. Good. Again, it's the back of your heart that rises up. You're hugging those arm bones into the shoulder socket, but you're bending your elbows up towards the ceiling to create that openness in your chest and back. Heels to your butt, thighs down. Good. And then release. Nice job. Plant your hands. Press back downward facing dog. Good, you guys. Left leg comes up and back, down dog split. Good. Bend the knee, kick your heel in towards your butt, stack the left hip on top of the right. And again, lengthen. So pull that knee back behind you. Good. So it's not so much that you are twisting the pelvis more, but you're moving the thigh back so that there's more extension from the front of your pelvis through the length of your thigh. That's what you're looking for. And then squeeze that heel in. Good. So don't let that right heel that's holding you on the floor fall open. So Kristen, just pull that heel in towards the midline. You got it. And then go ahead and point that left knee towards the floor. Step the left foot between the hands. Good. And then back heel comes down to 45 degrees. You can step the foot wider to the right if you need. And then inhale the arms up to warrior one. Good. So that right hip is spinning forward here. It's really important in Warrior One that you have that sense of turning the pelvis towards the top of your mat, which is going to allow that back thigh to internally rotate. So it's pulling in and then up towards the ceiling. So Stacy, step your back foot wider to the right so that you can turn your right hip forward more. Good. Turn your toes forward more even. Yeah. Good, you guys. Interlace your fingers, point your fingers to the sky, Kali Mudra. Good. And then again, for just a couple of breaths, that feeling of Satnam pulling in and up through the navel and exhaling, releasing, letting yourself drop into the pose a little bit deeper with your legs. Good. And that energy of Kali, of course, is the energy that destroys whatever doesn't make sense anymore in a very immediate way. When it's time to stop thinking, she says, you just do it. She's like the lightning strike. Good. She's also often seen as that energy of rebellion, the tongue out, the wildness. And that's part of liberation too, is realizing when you are holding yourself too bound to one way of expressing yourself, sometimes you have to become Kali and destroy that, destroy your self-image. Good. One more deep breath. And then take the hands back behind you. Interlace the fingers back behind you. Long spine. Bow inside the front thigh, taking the arms up and over any amount. Squeeze that left butt cheek back and in. And keep sending that outer right hip spinning forward. So you're still turning that back hip forward and you're still internally rotating that back thigh. And then squeeze your feet towards each other. Move your weight into your back foot more. And then bow deeper. Good. Forehead to the floor. Go for it. Nice. Nice, 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 Jessica. And then release the hands down to the floor, please. Good, you guys. Spin your back heel up. Right hand plants left arm to the sky, spinal twist. And as you twist this time, you're flexing that left foot and letting your knee drop open to the side. So coming onto the baby toe. If you have to drop the back knee to make that happen, that's totally available. There you go. But let the hip go wide. Let the knee go wide. Nice. Throat back. Lean back. Awesome. Good. And then release back to center. Please take that front foot flat to the floor. Good. Lift that back knee if it came down. Left leg comes up and back behind you. Down dog split. Good. Bend the knee. Kick your heel in towards your butt. Stack the left hip on top of the right. Open again. Good. So again, you're getting longer here. You're drawing back through the top of your right thigh, which is the leg that's holding you. And then the option to flip your dog, where that left foot is going to come to the floor behind you, left arm to the sky. You've got to turn your pelvis up towards the ceiling. Good. And you got to push up. You've got to open the chest if you're doing that full flip. Nice, you guys. Really good. And then unwind back to downward facing dog. Beautiful. Take a breath. And then slide forward to plank pose, lower down slow. Good. Bend your knees, kick your heels in towards your butt, reach back right hand for right ankle, left hand for left ankle. If reaching for your ankles is not happening, keep your hands alongside your ribs like you would for Cobra. This time you're going to kick your feet into your hands. I want that same energy of you're lifting through the front of your pelvis like you did in locust pose. So kick your feet back into your hands, bend your elbows for a moment like you're coming back into frog. So you start to lift your chest by bending your elbows. Good. And then start to kick your feet into your hands, lift your thighs this time, come into boat. Sorry, not boat, upward bow. This is not boat. But kick your feet into your hands, but keep your chest lifted just the way that you did in frog. So keep trying to bend the elbows and lift your chest higher. Good. And lengthen those thighs as you kick your feet back into your hands and lift the back of your throat like you're trying to reach your spine as long as you can. Crown of the head up towards the ceiling. Pull it back. Pull your throat back. Bend those elbows again. Get out of that feeling of I have to be stuck here in order for it to be the full pose. And then release. Nice, you guys. Turn one cheek to the side. Good. Or make a pillow with your hands, whatever feels better to you. If you'd like with the lower back, you can wiggle hips from side to side, or you can even bend your knees if they're a little bit wider and windshield wiper your legs from side to side. Good. Gurus are the one that hold the knowledge that there is not one way of being, there are infinite ways of being. It's not your personality that determines whether you are spiritual or not. It's how deeply you understand that root of who and what you are. And if you understand that completely, if you're really honest about what that is, and it's not full of your thinking about what used to be or what could be or what should be, then no matter what you do, whatever your personality is, what you do is you create light out of darkness. No more darkness exists in you because darkness doesn't mean anything anymore. It's the guru in you that has the ability to realize that. And so who they are as personalities may or may not be perfect. Who you are as a personality, you may think may or may not fit into the idea of what you should be. But it doesn't lessen that power any. And it only becomes inaccessible to you when you forget that it's yours. That's why we practice Sat Nam. Not there is truth out there that somebody else has, but Sat Nam is my name. Not somebody else's, it's mine. You have to have that sense that it lives in you. So we have our gurus for no other reason than to awaken that knowledge in us. Turn your cheek to the other side. Guru Purnima, can you celebrate the gurus in your life, the ones that have seemed very spiritual and have inspired you on that path, and the ones who have really just been there to help destroy things so that you can rebuild them into something different? And the gurus that maybe were only in your life for 2 minutes to say one thing that was going to stick with you. And the gurus that won't seem to go away no matter how much you want them to. And the gurus that aren't human but are animal. And the gurus that are written about in fiction, and the gurus that have already passed but you hear about them. You celebrate the guru that's in you. The ability to turn what feels like dark into light, what feels like being stuck into freedom. Forehead to the floor, walk your hands back, press up to hands and knees, press back, child's pose for a breath. Good. And then find your way back to downward facing dog. Nice. Right leg comes up and back, down dog split. Good. Extend back, extend back, extend back. And then bring that right knee forward and wide for pigeon. Knee goes towards your right wrist. Good. Slide that left leg back in space. Good. So that same energy almost of warrior one, that you're dragging that back hip forward so that your right hip can go wider. Got it. Good. And then, so bring yourself forward onto your forearms, please. And then pause there. Tuck your back toes. And then lift your back knee up off the floor. So you're on your forearms, but lift your back knee up. Good. So again, you're getting more of that feeling of extension through the back thigh, through the back hip. Good. The front of the pelvis. Nice. Gives you an awareness of your alignment, gives you awareness of the power of that leg. Good. Now let it drop down to the floor, but don't let it become useless. So keep reaching through that leg, and you can keep the foot tucked or untucked. Good. And then let yourself walk forward any amount more. If you're dropping your forehead to the floor or changing your arm position, go ahead and do it. Even in asana, the places in us that get stuck, that we're looking for relief or we're looking for freedom from pain. Because if we think about it, we can start diagnosing everything that's wrong with our body. Well, my hip is like this, or my shin is like this, or my spine is like this, or I have this condition, I have that problem, I have this injury, I have that thing, which means that I can never ever be free because all of those things happened. I can't undo them. No, you can't. But where you are in this moment, you have the ability to stop thinking about it and just feel what it's like to go into freedom. And that usually means doing the poses, doing the things that we absolutely don't want to do because it challenges the way our body feels that it should be or needs to be. Challenges our tightness. The body is tight, the mind becomes tight. If the mind is tight, the body becomes tight. And don't start diagnosing that too. If you're like, oh, my body's always tight, it must mean that my mind is broken. It's a time to just stop thinking about it and do your best to embody what does it mean to be light instead of getting stuck in that feeling of tightness. And maybe it means there still is discomfort, there still is restriction in your body. So you move in new ways to try and help it become freer. You destroy the world as it was and you recreate it. Take one more breath. Then walk yourself back up onto your forearms. You can stay there, bend that left knee, kick your heel in towards your butt. Reach back, right hand for the foot or the ankle, so twisting quad stretch. Good, and if you have to come up on the hand to do that, no problem. But again, I don't want that back leg to feel like it's passively just in a quad stretch. So dig that left thigh down and pull that thigh forward and up into your pelvis and then kick your foot back into your hand. So I want you to imagine that you're doing almost upward bow again. And then scoop your belly, drop your right butt cheek down towards the floor. That's the leg that's still technically in pigeon. Good. I say technically because, you know, where some of your hips are is not really there anymore. And then slowly release. Good job. Good. Tuck those back toes, lift that back knee, take the right leg up and back behind you, down dog split. Good. And then step that foot forward, back between the hands. Both hands inside the front foot, walk to your left until you come to the center of your mat, straighten the legs, turn the toes, Prasarita Padottanasana. Good. And then bend your knees, take your thighs back. So your knees stay on top of your ankles, take your thighs back, walk your hands forward, get long like you're in a bent knee, downward facing dog. Good. So a deep bend in your knees, butt pulls back, spine pulls long. Good. Deep breath in, deeper breath out, drop your hips lower. Good. Nice, Andy. And then walk your hands back in underneath your shoulders. Take those legs up to straight. Bow deeply. Nice. And then walk back towards the top of your mat. Turn the right toes. Step back, downward facing dog. Bring the left leg up and back, down dog split. Reach out. Good, and then bring that left knee forward and wide for pigeon on the other side. So the knee goes towards the left wrist. Good. Nice, you guys. So set that left hip drawing back, outer right hip spinning forward, come on down to your forearms, and then tuck the back toes and lift that back knee up so that you have a real sense of the strength of that thigh and also the extension from the front of your pelvis all the way through the leg. So pull it up high through your heel and then press into your forearms and drag back. So it's like you're pulling your chest forward. Good. So you're extending that whole right side of your body. Nice. And then maintain that feeling. Let that right knee come back down to the floor. Good. Keep the toes tucked or not, your choice. But don't let that leg become asleep. And then let yourself drop into your pigeon if there's a different arm position that you're looking for. Keep your front foot awake. Good. Nice, you guys. So the guru is part of all of our processes and practice. They say that sometimes the guru is like the one that is very, very heavy, that you can't get away from. The truth that you can't get away from, no matter how much you keep turning it around in your mind to make it look the way you want it to look, you can't get away from its reality. And sometimes the guru is said to be like the energy of tapas, that it's the irritation that drives us to change. The foundation of that guru relationship, what makes a guru meaningful in your life is not their spiritual ability. It's how much love and trust you have for them. Because if you love someone enough, you trust someone enough to let them help you destroy your life, that's pretty big. You trust them to inspire you to become a more fully realized version of yourself. That's pretty big. So we talk about the inner guru, and what we run into is that we don't have that trust in ourselves. That we're willing to maybe try if someone else is directing us, and we can always say if it doesn't work, well, you know, they were directing. So what happens when it's just you inside yourself that says, I have the ability to change everything about my life, but I don't trust myself to do it. That's why we go back to the root, we go back to the heart. Because for that guru in you to be real, those are the places that need to be understood, that need to be clear. I know who I am, Sat Nam. And I trust that my ability to make that truth, to make that self real in the world, to make that love real in the world, will be successful. Even if it's imperfect, I'm willing to do it. Can you discover where in you there is distrust of your innate self, your deepest self? Because that's what binds you. Good. Walk yourself back up onto your forearms, please. Bend that right knee, kick your heel in towards your butt. Left hand reaches back for the foot or the ankle. Take the twisting quad stretch. And again, you can come up on that right hand if being on the forearm doesn't work. And then wake up that back leg again like it's in upward bow. So you're digging that thigh down and pulling the thigh up into the hip socket. So you're down and forward. Drag the knee forward. And then kick your foot back into your hand. Open your ribs. And then scoop your belly. Take that left sit bone, wrap it around back down towards the floor. Still in pigeon. Good. Nice, Kristen. Good, Mark. And then slowly release, please. Nice, you guys. Walk yourself back up, please. Good. And then lift that back knee, take the left leg up and back behind you, down dog split. Just so again, why do we do down dog split before and after pigeon? Because you want to create that extension on the leg that has just been bent. Yep, so left leg is up and back, down dog split. Good. And then release that foot to the floor, please. Look forward between your hands, step or jump your feet to the top of your mat. Take your feet wide, come into squat for a moment. Last time I promise, take your arms up to the sky, interlace your fingers. Point your fingers to the sky, Kali Mudra. Just for a breath or two, if you need a block underneath your seat, put it there, but Sat Nam. Good. There's no position in your life that you can't find that inner truth. Even if it's difficult, even if it's impossible, change your seat so that you can keep saying Sat Nam. Change your mind so you can keep saying Sat Nam and mean it. The truth is my name. Good. One more breath, pull up, inhale. And as you exhale, release the hands, come on down to sit. Good, stretch your right leg out in front of you. Good job, you guys. Bend your left knee, so right leg extends, bend your left knee. Cross that left leg over your right thigh. Good, and then you're hugging the left leg in with your right arm. Left hand comes behind you for spinal twist. Good, and I want you to really work that hugging in action. So you're squeezing the thigh in, and then you're lifting your belly and your ribs up to meet that thigh. So pull yourself longer so you're not leaning back into that left hand. Good, and then you're dropping, you're pulling in your low belly, you're dropping that left sit bone back and down to the floor. Good. Nice, and then release and come back to center, please. Unwind the legs. Go to the other side. So left leg extends, bend the right knee. Cross it over the left thigh. Good. Hug the knee in with the left arm. Take your right hand back behind you. And again, as you squeeze that thigh in, you are creating internal rotation on that leg, which is very nice for opening the hips. And then you're lifting your belly up towards that thigh. Don't lean into the hand. Pull up. And then scoop your belly and send that right sit bone down to the floor strong. Good. Flex that left foot. Nice, you guys. And then come back to center, please. Unwind your legs. Come onto your backs. It's always unfair that I don't have 2 hours with you. That's what I want. Maybe it's not what you want, but it's what I want. It's 2 hours. Good. So come onto your back, please. Good. And then cross the right ankle on top of your left thigh. Step your left foot wider to the left. Drop your knees to the right. Let your arms go wide, cactus arms, or taking arms overhead to hold opposite wrists or elbows. Good. And again, if the knee doesn't like having the weight of the ankle on top of it here, you can instead have the legs wrapped like you would an eagle, or you can even just have the foot off of the floor and the knees wide, resting to the right. Good. Softening your back rib cage to the floor. Nice. Keep the arms where they are. Come back to center, please. Feet flat, as wide as your mat. Take the left ankle on top of your right thigh. Good. Right foot is as wide to that right edge of your mat. Drop your knees to the left. And soften your ribs. Instead of light and dark, can you just practice being love? And in that imperfection, the difference between light and dark starts to disappear when we are accepting that the reality of truth is going to be changing in the world because the world is change. And that it's not your personality that needs to be fixed, but an understanding of who you are beyond and beneath your surface personality. Truth is my name. When you live in that, whatever feels like dark starts to disappear. It just becomes on that spectrum of light. And if you know that that's what you are, then there's no fear. There's no distrust of yourself. Come back to center, please. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Happy baby, just for a breath or two. Separate the feet, reach for the ankles, the insteps. The knees wide, draw those knees towards the armpit, root the lower back. Good. And then bring the knees back in towards your chest, please. Squeeze, bring your forehead up to meet your knees. Good. And then release, extending the legs out in front of you. If you need a final spinal twist, more than what we did, then feel free to take it. Otherwise, stretch the legs out. Take the arms alongside you, palms facing up. Rest. Shavasana, the state that is completely free. What it means to be beyond your body and your mind in the world. Complete rest. very gently bring the awareness back to your breath. Letting your body begin to stretch and move, whatever ways serve it well. And as you're ready, draw your knees in towards your chest, roll to your right side. And take a moment there before you begin to push the floor away. Come back to an upright seated position. Bringing the hands together in front of the heart center, palm to palm, or whatever mudra you find serves you. And again, try and find your breath hitting those spaces, the third eye, the heart center, down into the bowl of the pelvis. And the path of embodiment is to make the truth of the spiritual self real in the world. And in order to do that, it means that we have to keep destroying the illusions we have of ourselves over and over and over and over and over again, not just once. So the guru is the one that keeps reminding you that there is that name, Sat Nam, that is the truth of who you are. It's not your personality. It's not the restrictions of your body or place or time or birth or any of that. That's not what binds you. What binds you is when there's that distrust of what you are. There's that ignorance of what you are, the forgetfulness. So we practice to do nothing else but remember that we are already enlightened, that we already have the truest spiritual self that exists in this body, in this mind. We just forgot how to live it. So we practice to understand what that is and to feel what it's like to make it real in the world that is imperfect and always changing. But the gurus are the ones that help us tear down the illusions, and that's not always comfortable. And they themselves, personality-wise, may not be what we like. But the gurus in your life, even if they're only there for a minute, remind you of Sat Nam. What is the truth that you are? What is the truth beyond your body and your mind? Just practice living that. Don't think about it anymore. Just do it. Initiate yourself, damn it. Whatever gurus are in your life, let them be the reason that you decide to do it for yourself. We'll close with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste, everybody. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, a great holiday if you're celebrating. Do something fun. And we will see you again soon. But thanks for coming out. Going to unmute you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Glad I
Have a good holiday.
Thank you. There's lots of good mantras for Guru Purnima. So if you look them up, there's lots of people who are chanting for the holiday. I think Krishna Das is doing it, and Jai Dev, Guru Jai Dev is doing it.